At 3 in the morning, I got up to use the restroom. Passing by the home office, I heard Ethan on a video call. "Sweetie, did you miss me?" The voice was tender in a way I'd never heard before. I quietly pushed open the door a crack. On the screen, a young girl sat. It wasn't me. "My name is Grace, 26 years old, married to Ethan for 3 years. I thought our marriage was happy, until that night. At 3 in the morning, I woke up needing to use the restroom. Drowsily getting out of bed, I realized Ethan wasn't beside me. The bedroom door was open, and a faint light glowed in the living room. I thought he was working late and was about to get him a warm glass of milk. As I reached the home office door, I heard that voice. "Sweetie, did you miss me?" Ethan's voice was so tender it could melt. I had never heard that tone from him, not even when we were newlyweds. My heart pounded. Through the crack in the door, I saw Ethan facing the computer screen, his expression focused and affectionate. On the screen was a young girl with long, flowing hair and fair skin, giggling sweetly into the camera. "Of course I missed you, Ethan." The girl's voice was syrupy sweet. "When are you coming back to be with me?" "Soon, after this project is finished." Ethan reached out and stroked the screen, as if caressing the girl's face. "Be a good girl, just wait for me a little longer." My world collapsed. 3 years of marriage, completely shattered in that moment. I stumbled back to the bedroom, lying on the bed, trembling. Ethan was actually on a video call with another woman, and their tone was so intimate. Who was this girl? How far had their relationship gone? Half an hour later, Ethan returned to the bedroom. He quietly got into bed, thinking I was still asleep. I closed my eyes, pretending to sleep, feeling the warmth of the man beside me. For 3 years, every night had been spent this way with him. Now that I thought about it, Ethan had indeed been acting somewhat unusual. Ally in recent months. He started working late frequently, and often claimed to have social engagements on weekends. He used to hate people making calls at home, but now he'd often answer the phone and walk away, saying it was a work secret I shouldn't hear. I, foolishly, even praised his dedication to work and empathized with his efforts. The next morning, Ethan had breakfast with me as usual. He acted perfectly normal, asking if I'd slept well and what my plans were for the day. I forced a smile as I answered him, my heart bleeding. "Honey, I might be working late tonight, so go to bed early and don't wait up for me," Ethan said, sipping his coffee. "Working late? Or meeting that girl? Okay, take care of yourself." I heard myself reply, my voice sounding completely normal. After left, I sat at the dining table and cried for a long time. I took out my phone and scrolled through Ethan's WhatsApp. I had never checked his phone before because I trusted him. Now, it seemed my trust had become his shield for deception. There was nothing unusual in Ethan's WhatsApp, work groups, friends groups, family groups, everything seemed normal. But I noticed that his WhatsApp usage had significantly decreased recently. He used to often post photos of his social media posts, but now it had been a long time since he updated. Could he have switched to another contact method? I thought of last night's video call. That must have been software on his computer, not a WhatsApp video call. I decided to go to Ethan's agency. Ethan was a business director at an advertising agency. It wasn't a large company, but it was profitable. We met at a friend's gathering. He was already working there at the time. Over 3 years, I had visited his agency a few times, mostly to bring him things or have lunch together. The colleagues at the agency all knew me. I changed into a professional outfit, put on sophisticated makeup, and brought the lunch I'd prepared for Ethan to his agency. "Ms. Grace, what brings you here?" Sarah at the front desk was pleasantly surprised to see me. "Bringing lunch for Ethan, is he in?" "Director is in a meeting, it should be over soon. Please have a seat for a moment." I sat in the reception area, looking around this place I had visited many times. There were over a dozen employees at the agency, most of whom I had met. Suddenly, I noticed an unfamiliar figure. It was a young girl, working at a windowside cubicle. Her long hair flowed over her shoulders, her skin was fair, and her profile was delicate. My heart pounded. That profile looked very similar to the girl in last night's video call. "Sarah, is that girl new?" I pointed to her and asked the front desk. "Oh, you mean Luna. She's a new designer who joined last month, very talented. Director values her highly and often mentors her in her work." Luna. I silently committed the name to memory. Just then, the conference room door opened, and Ethan emerged with a few colleagues. "Honey, what brings you here?" Ethan's expression flickered with panic for a moment when he saw me, but he quickly regained his composure. "Bringing you lunch." I held up the lunchbox in my hand. "You're too thoughtful." Ethan walked over and kissed my cheek. But next time, you don't have to make a special trip, I can just eat at the agency. He used to love it when I brought him food, saying it made him feel happy. Now he was telling me not to come. I noticed Luna secretly glance our way while we were talking, her eyes holding a complex expression. It's fine, I don't have anything else to do today, I said with a smile. You all carry on, I won't bother you. I'll walk you downstairs. Ethan offered to come with me. No need, you stay busy. I waved my hand. I can go by myself. I deliberately lingered at the agency for a while longer, using the excuse of going to the restroom to observe Luna. She looked to be 24 or 25, dressed in a simple white blouse and black skirt, with a pure aura. Design drafts were scattered on her desk, she indeed seemed very professional. I quietly walked behind her, wanting to see her work. Just then, her phone lit up. I saw the contact name displayed on the chat interface, Ethan. My blood ran cold instantly. After leaving Ethan's agency, I felt completely disoriented. The Ethan on Luna's phone, the syrupy sweet endearment from last night's video call, everything clicked. My husband was really cheating. I drove home, nearly getting into several accidents on the way. My mind was a mess, I couldn't concentrate at all. Back home, I collapsed onto the sofa, looking at the home I had meticulously decorated. Our wedding photo hung in the living room. Ethan in the picture smiled so happily, he had said I was the most beautiful bride he had ever seen. Now that I thought about it, were those words all lies? I took out my phone and scrolled through my chat history with Ethan. Recently, our conversations had dwindled, mostly consisting of daily trifles. Coming home for dinner tonight? Drive safely. I love you. I realized that lately, I was always the one saying I love you, and Ethan rarely replied. He used to say I love you too, but now he'd at most send an emoji. I should have noticed earlier. At 8 in the evening, Ethan returned. Honey, I'm home, he said as he changed his shoes. I replied from the kitchen. I prepared dinner for him and asked about his day at work, as usual. How was your day? Are you tired? It was okay, just a new project that's quite complex, Ethan said while eating. I might be quite busy for a while. Will you need to work late often? Probably, the new designer isn't quite proficient yet and needs more guidance. The new designer. Luna. My hand gripped the fork tightly, yet I maintained a calm facade. Is it a boy or a girl? A girl, recently graduated, but very talented. Ethan's tone carried a hint of admiration. By the way, tomorrow is Henry's birthday. Margaret wants us to go back for dinner. I tried to make my voice sound normal. Tomorrow? Ethan frowned. I have an important project to discuss tomorrow. I might not be able to make it. Another excuse. Should I tell Henry and Margaret that we'll go another day then? No need, you go by yourself. This project of mine is really important, I can't postpone it. I nodded. Okay, then you keep busy. After dinner, Ethan said he needed to go to the home office to handle some work. As I cleared the dishes, I heard the sound of him making a call from the home office. Let's discuss the project tomorrow, let's rest tonight. Okay, then let's video chat for a bit. My heart started pounding again. He was going to video chat with Luna again. I quietly walked to the home office door, wanting to confirm my suspicions once more. Sure enough, Luna's figure appeared on the computer screen again. She was wearing a pink pajama top, her hair loosely tied, looking even younger and cuter. Ethan, I saw your honey at the agency today, Luna said flirtatiously. My heart almost stopped beating. She brought me lunch, Ethan's voice was calm. She's quite pretty, but she looks a bit old-fashioned, Luna said with a laugh. Not as beautiful as you said she was. Ethan told Luna I was beautiful? She is pretty, but... Ethan paused. She doesn't have your vibrancy. You're such a tease, always flattering me. Luna blushed. But I am younger than her. Yes, you're still so young, with endless possibilities ahead of you. Ethan's gentle tone made me sick to my stomach. So, will you divorce her for me? Luna suddenly asked. I held my breath, waiting for Ethan's answer. Let's wait a bit. It's not the right time yet. Not the right time, meaning he would divorce later? I couldn't listen anymore and stumbled back to the bedroom. So, in Ethan's heart, I was old and lacked vibrancy. And was young, beautiful, with endless possibilities. They were even discussing divorce. I lay on the bed, sobbing. 3 years of marriage were about to end, and I was the last to know. The next day, I went back to my parents' house alone for Henry's birthday. Where's Ethan? Why didn't he come with you? Margaret looked disappointed seeing just me. He has an important project at the agency and really couldn't get away, I explained with a forced smile. That boy works too hard, he needs to balance work and rest, Henry said. Go tell him that his health is the most important thing. I know, Henry. Sitting at the dining table, looking at the elaborate lunch my parents had prepared for me, my heart ached profoundly. If and I divorced, how would I explain it to my parents? They liked Ethan so much and had always been proud that I found a good husband. Grace, you haven't looked well lately. Are you too tired? Margaret asked with concern. No, I just haven't been sleeping very well lately. Is working late too often and affecting your rest? Young people need to pay attention to these things. Health is the foundation of everything. I almost couldn't control my tears. Margaret, if Ethan wasn't good to me, would you support me? My parents exchanged glances. Margaret put down her fork and looked at me seriously. Grace, is something wrong between you two? I shook my head. No, I was just asking. Silly girl, no matter what happens, we'll always be your support. But conflicts are inevitable between spouses. If you can resolve them through communication, then communicate well and don't give up easily. Ethan is a good boy. We've seen how he's been these 3 years of your marriage. He's been good to you and works very hard, Henry said. If there's really a problem, first consider if it's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? I gave a bitter laugh. If video calling another woman late at night was a misunderstanding, if them discussing divorce was also a misunderstanding, then there was no truth in this world. But I couldn't tell my parents these things, at least. Not yet. I needed more evidence, I needed to know the whole truth. On the way home that afternoon, I made a decision. I was going to hire a private investigator. I searched for several detective agencies online and finally chose one with good reviews. Hello, I need to investigate if my husband is cheating. I stated my purpose directly on the phone. Madam, do you have any specific suspicions? I told them about my discoveries over the past few days, including the late-night video call and Luna's existence. We can help you investigate, but it will take some time. The investigation fee varies depending on the complexity, roughly between $5,000 and $20,000. Money is not an issue, I just want the truth. Okay, we'll start the investigation as soon as possible. Please provide some basic information and photos of your husband. After hanging up the phone, I felt like I had made a momentous decision. Perhaps I should have confronted Ethan directly, but I was afraid he would deny it, afraid he would hide it even more carefully. I needed solid evidence so he couldn't deny it. When returned that evening, I had regained my composure. How was Henry's birthday? He asked. Very good, Henry and Margaret both miss you. I'll go see them another day, I've just been too busy lately. That same old line again. How's your project progressing? Pretty good, the new designer has a lot of fresh ideas and has given me quite a bit of inspiration. When he mentioned Luna, Ethan's eyes lit up. I scoffed inwardly. Inspiration? What kind of inspiration required late-night video chats? Oh, by the way, I'm going on a business trip out of town tomorrow. It might be for 3 or 4 days, Ethan suddenly said. Business trip? Or a secret rendezvous? Where are you going? To meet a client to discuss a collaboration. Are you going alone? The agency will send someone with me, but who exactly hasn't been decided yet. I suspected Luna would definitely go with him. Then be careful on your trip, and remember to call me every day. Of course. Ethan kissed my forehead. Take good care of yourself at home. That kiss made me sick to my stomach. He was betraying me while pretending to be affectionate. That night, I sent a text message to the private investigator, informing him about Ethan's business trip tomorrow. Please arrange for someone to track and investigate immediately. I suspect he will go with that female colleague. Soon, the detective replied, received. We will arrange staff. The next morning, Ethan left early. I stood by the window, watching him leave with his suitcase, my feelings complicated. At 10 in the morning, the private investigator sent me the first message. Target has arrived at the airport, confirmed to have a female companion, identity being verified. 10 minutes later, another message. Confirmed female companion is Luna, their relationship appears very intimate. There were also photos. In the photos, Ethan and Luna walked side by side at the airport. Ethan was carrying her luggage, and they were laughing and chatting. From the angle of the photos, they looked like a couple on a trip. My hands trembled, and I almost dropped my phone. With the facts laid bare, could I still deceive myself? On the third night, the private investigator sent me the last batch of photos. Ethan and Luna were strolling along the beach, holding hands, just like a real couple. Luna stood on her tiptoes and kissed Ethan's cheek. Ethan held Luna, and they gazed at each other affectionately. This was the last straw. It completely crushed me. I clutched my phone and sobbed uncontrollably. 3 years of feelings, 3 years of trust, all turned into a joke. What should I do? Confront him? Demand a divorce? Or continue to pretend I knew nothing, maintaining this false marriage? I took out my phone and found my lawyer friend's number. Sophia, I'd like to ask about divorce. Grace? What's wrong? Is it you and Ethan? Yes, he's cheating. What? That jerk. Do you have evidence? Yes, plenty. Okay, calm down first. Come to my office tomorrow morning, and we'll talk in detail. After hanging up, I felt a bit lighter. At least I knew what I needed to do next. On the fourth morning, Ethan returned. He even brought me local souvenirs from San, smiling as he said, "Honey, I'm home. Did you miss me?" Watching him act as if nothing was wrong, my anger reached its peak. But I held it in and accepted his gift. You must be tired. Was it tough these past few days? It was okay, just a little homesick. Ethan hugged me. It's still best at home. Homesick? I almost scoffed aloud. When you were with Luna, did you think about home? How did the project talks go? Very smoothly, the client was very satisfied. Luna's performance was also excellent, she helped me a lot. When he mentioned Luna, he started to glow with enthusiasm again. Is that so? That's good. Oh, by the way, the agency is holding its company annual party next month. You should come too, Ethan said. Company annual party? I remembered Luna. She would definitely be attending the company annual party too. Ethan wanted me to meet his mistress? Sure, it's been a long time since I attended one of your agency's events, I agreed outwardly. Perhaps, the company annual party would be a good opportunity. That afternoon, I went to my lawyer friend Sophia's office. These photos can certainly serve as evidence of cheating, Sophia said angrily, looking at the photos taken by the private investigator. He's a scumbag. If I file for divorce, what can I hope to gain? Under current marriage law, the cheating party will be at a disadvantage in asset division. You've been married for 3 years, your joint assets aren't small, are they? I thought about our assets. The house was bought after marriage, the car too, along with some savings and investments. The house is worth 3 million, the car 300,000, savings around 500,000, and some stocks and funds. If the evidence is conclusive, you can get at least 60% of the assets. Additionally, you can claim emotional distress compensation. I don't care about the money, I just want him to pay a price. I understand how you feel, but you need to be mentally prepared. A divorce lawsuit can be very long and painful. I've suffered enough already, a little more won't make a difference. Alright, go back and prepare for now, gather more evidence. We'll aim to resolve this in one go. Leaving the law firm, I felt like a different person. I was no longer the pitiful, deluded wife, I was going to fight for myself. Over the next week, I began secretly gathering evidence. I installed monitoring software on Ethan's computer, recording his chat content with Luna. I tracked him a few times and found that he often had dinner and watched movies with Luna after work. I even pretended to run into them, taking more photos at the restaurant where they were on a date. Every evening, when Ethan was on video calls with Luna in the home office, I would hide outside the door and record. Sweetie, when can we be together openly? Soon, I'm working on it. Will you really divorce her? I'm a bit worried. Of course, I'm serious about you. I'll handle things with grace slowly, don't worry. But she seems so good to you, I feel a little guilty. Guilty about what? There's been no love between us for a long time. I stayed in that home only out of responsibility. Now that I've met you, I know what true love is. No love? Just out of responsibility? Listening from outside the door, I was heartbroken. So, in Ethan's heart, our marriage was merely a responsibility, not love. And was his true love. I recorded these conversations and saved them as evidence. At the same time, I was also preparing for life after divorce. I started looking for work again. Although I had been out of the workforce for 3 years, my professional skills were still intact. Several design companies were very interested in my resume, and I quickly received several interview invitations. I also consulted with a real estate agent to understand the market value of our house. I was secretly making all sorts of preparations for the divorce, while Ethan remained completely oblivious. He still came home on time every day, ate and slept with me, acting like a good husband. But I knew his heart had long since left this home. On the day of the company annual party, Ethan drove to pick me up. Wow, honey, you look beautiful today. He looked at me with surprise and admiration. Thanks, I replied indifferently. His compliments now held no meaning for me, because I knew his heart belonged to someone else. Upon arriving at the company annual party, I saw Luna. She was wearing a pink dress, looking youthful and vibrant. As and I walked into the venue, I noticed Luna's expression stiffen for a moment. She probably didn't expect me to look so beautiful. Everyone, this is my honey, Grace, Ethan introduced me to his colleagues. Colleagues came over to greet us, complimenting my beauty and saying Ethan was lucky. If it were before, I would have been very happy. Now, I only felt irony. Director, your honey is really beautiful, Luna said, walking over with a smile. Indeed, I've always considered myself very fortunate, Ethan said, putting his arm around my waist. I looked at Luna, this woman who destroyed my marriage. She was indeed very beautiful, young, and vibrant. If it weren't for her being a mistress, I might even admire her. Ms. Grace, you are truly beautiful, no wonder director loves you so much. Luna's tone seemed sincere, but I detected the sarcasm within it. Thank you for the compliment, I replied indifferently. The company annual party began, with various performances and games taking turns. I noticed Ethan's gaze often furtively straying towards Luna, and also occasionally looked our way. They thought they were concealing it well, but to me, everything was so obvious. Midway through, Ethan said he was going to the restroom and told me to stay seated. I saw Luna also leave on an excuse. I quietly followed them out. In the hallway outside the venue, I witnessed a scene that filled me with rage. Ethan and Luna were embracing, kissing passionately. Tonight your honey is here, we can't. Luna said shyly. It's okay, I'll figure something out tomorrow. Ethan caressed her face. You look stunning tonight. More stunning than your honey? In my heart, you are the most beautiful. I recorded all of this from the corner. This was the best evidence. After the company annual party, we returned home. While was showering, I opened his phone. Although he had set a password, I knew it was our wedding anniversary. How ironic, he used our wedding anniversary as a password, yet was betraying our marriage. I found his chat history with Luna. You looked so beautiful tonight, I almost couldn't control myself. You're naughty, good thing your honey didn't find out. She doesn't know anything, she just focuses on being a housewife. I'm a little worried, what if she finds out? She won't. She's very naive and won't suspect anything. Besides, she's completely dependent on me now, with no job, no income, so even if she knew, she wouldn't dare do anything. You're so bad, but I like it. Once I handle things at home, we can be together openly. I almost threw the phone. Naive? Dependent? Wouldn't dare do anything? Ethan actually saw me this way. In his eyes, I was just a valueless, incapable accessory. I took screenshots of these chat records and quickly put the phone back. Ethan came out after showering and saw me sitting on the bed. Why aren't you asleep yet? Waiting for you, I said with a smile. It's been a long day, let's get some rest, he said, lying down beside me. Ethan, I called his name. I love you. This was the last time I would say those words to him. I love you too, he replied reflexively, but his tone was perfunctory. I closed my eyes, tears silently streaming down my face. The next day, after Ethan left for work, I dialed Sophia's number. Sophia, I want to file for divorce as soon as possible. Are you sure you've thought it through? Yes. I've gathered enough evidence. Okay, then come to my office this afternoon, and we'll prepare the divorce lawsuit. That afternoon, I went to the law firm with all the evidence. Photos, recordings, chat records, everything was complete. This evidence is sufficient, Sophia said after reviewing it. Ethan won't be able to escape this time. When can we officially file the lawsuit? Next week at the earliest. But you need to be mentally prepared. Once you file, there's absolutely no turning back in your relationship. I know. Actually, our relationship had no turning back long ago. I just kept refusing to admit it. Alright, I'll prepare the divorce lawsuit immediately. Leaving the law firm, I felt a sense of relief. Finally, I was going to fight for myself. Back home, I started packing my belongings. Over 3 years, I had left too many traces in this home, every item held our memories. But now, these memories had all turned into mockery. I packed up my clothes, jewelry, and cosmetics, preparing to move back to my parents' house. While I was packing, Ethan returned. Honey, what are you doing? He asked, puzzled, seeing me pack. Just tidying up some unused items, getting ready to throw them away. Oh, I'm going to take a shower then. He didn't suspect a thing. Perhaps in his mind, I was just a housewife who would never fight back. But he was wrong. That evening, I called my parents. Margaret, I want to come home for a few days tomorrow. What's wrong? Did you and Ethan argue? No, I'm just homesick. Alright, come home. Margaret will cook your favorite dishes. The next morning, after Ethan left for work, I took my luggage and returned to my parents' house. Margaret looked worried, seeing me with my luggage. Grace. What is this? Margaret, Ethan and I are getting a divorce. I told my parents what had happened. After listening, Margaret angrily slammed the table. That, we were so good to him, and he treats you like this. Henry, though angry, was still more rational. Grace, are you sure all the evidence is real? Could there be a misunderstanding? Henry, I saw it with my own eyes, and I have recordings and photos. There's no way it's a misunderstanding. Then that bastard, I won't let him get away with it. Henry also raged. Don't worry, I've already found a lawyer, and we'll be filing for divorce soon. Good, we support you. A man like that isn't worth keeping, Margaret said. With my parents' support, I felt more confident. That afternoon, Ethan called me. Honey, why did you suddenly go back to your parents' house? And you didn't even tell me. I was homesick, so I came back for a few days. When are you coming back? I'm so bored being alone at home tonight. I'll stay a few more days, Margaret misses me. Alright, then spend some quality time with Henry and Margaret at home. I miss you. Miss me? If you really missed me, why did you betray me? Yes, I know. After hanging up, I imagined Ethan's expression when he learned the truth. He would definitely be shocked, because in his mind, I would always be the naive, dependent wife who wouldn't dare fight back. But he would soon realize he was wrong. A week later, a court summons was delivered to Ethan. I could imagine his shock upon receiving the summons. That afternoon, he called me frantically. Grace, what are you doing? Why are you filing for divorce? His voice was full of anger and incomprehension. Because you're cheating, I said calmly. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. How? How did you know? I know everything. Luna, the sand business trip, and all your dates. Grace, let me explain. No need to explain. I've recorded everything. See you in court. I hung up. A month later, the divorce lawsuit officially began. The divorce was granted, 30, and I received the majority. Ethan also had to pay me $100,000 for emotional distress compensation. Stepping out of the courtroom, I felt the sky was exceptionally blue. 3 years of marriage, finally over. Ethan ran after me. Grace, wait. I stopped and looked back at him. I have something more to say to you. Go on. I'm sorry, he said with red eyes. I know it's too late for anything now, but I still want to say I'm sorry. I heard you. If there's a next life, I hope I can love you well. I looked at the man I had once deeply loved, my heart filled with mixed emotions. Ethan, if there's a next life, I hope we never meet again. With that, I turned and left. Behind me, I heard Ethan sobbing, but I didn't look back. Some paths, once walked, cannot be revisited. Some people, once missed, are gone forever. 6 months after the divorce, I had completely established myself at the agency. My supervisor kept their promise and promoted me to design. Congratulations, Grace. Your performance over the past 6 months has been outstanding, and this promotion is well-deserved. Thank you for the agency's trust. I will work even harder. The promotion meant a higher salary and greater responsibility. I was excited. This was the first significant achievement I had made since starting over. After work that day, I invited a few close colleagues to celebrate. A toast to our design, Grace. Thank you all for your support. Grace, you're really amazing. Getting promoted in just 6 months, that's more achievement than many people manage in several years. Mainly, the agency gave me the opportunity. That's not something modesty can explain away. You truly have talent. Listening to my colleagues' praises, I felt a warmth in my heart. This feeling of being recognized was much stronger than when I was a housewife at home. I had given up my career for Ethan back then. Looking back now, it was truly foolish. The most important thing for a woman is to have her own worth, not to be dependent on a man. After the celebration, I walked alone on the street. The city lights glowed brilliantly in the night, and I felt like a shining part of it. Suddenly, I saw a familiar figure. Ethan. He was sitting alone in a roadside coffee shop, staring blankly at his coffee. He looked very haggard, completely devoid of his former high spirits. I hesitated for a moment, then walked in. Ethan. He looked up and saw me, a flicker of surprise in his eyes, but it quickly faded. Grace. Hello. Hello. I sat down across from him. You look great, he said, observing me. I wore suitable business attire, applied flawless makeup, and exuded an aura of confidence. Not bad. And you? Me. Ethan offered a bitter smile. Not so well. I didn't respond. I heard you got a promotion. Congratulations. Thanks. How did you know? A friend told me. He paused. I've been keeping up with you. Why? Because. He looked at me, his eyes filled with regret. Because I still love you. My heart fluttered for a moment, but quickly settled. Ethan, the past is in the past. I know I have no right to say this, but I still want to tell you. For the past 6 months, I've regretted it every single day. If I could do it all over again, I would never. There are no ifs, I interrupted him. He fell silent, his eyes filled with pain. What about Luna? I asked. It's over, he said with a bitter smile. She saw I didn't have much money after the divorce, so she left me for someone else. I see. Grace, I only now realize that you were the one who truly loved me. And I. Ethan, realization alone can't undo what's done. I stood up, ready to leave. Grace, wait. He took my hand. Can we? Is there still a chance for us? I looked into his hopeful eyes and gently shook my head. No. I pulled my hand away and turned, leaving the coffee shop. I heard Ethan sigh behind me, but I didn't. T looked back. Some paths, once walked, you can't go back. Some people, once they've hurt you, can't be forgiven. Walking home, my mind was calm. Seeing, I felt none of the anger or heartache I might have expected. Only a quiet sense of reflection. This man I once deeply loved was now a thing of the past for me. I had a new life, new goals. I didn't need to look back. A year later, my life was completely on track. At work, the team I led achieved outstanding results at the agency, and I became a key employee. In my personal life, I moved out of my parents' house and rented an upscale apartment downtown. Although it wasn't large, it was decorated very cozily and exactly to my taste. Every day after work, returning to my cozy home, brewing a pot of tea, and reading a book while listening to music, this life brought me great satisfaction. On weekends, I would gather with friends, or go to the movies or shopping by myself. I also started learning new skills, signing up for French and piano classes. My life was full and meaningful. Grace, you're really different now, said my friend Chloe. How so? Before, you always revolved around Ethan. Now you've found yourself. You have a certain radiance that's very captivating. Really? Yes, I think you're even more beautiful now than when you were married. I smiled. Maybe she was right. When a woman is truly independent and self-reliant, she radiates a special charm. This charm doesn't depend on a man's approval, it comes from inner confidence and strength. One day, a new client came to the agency. He was the CEO of a tech company and wanted to redesign his office. Ms. Grace, this project is yours. The client values this partnership greatly. Understood. I'll handle it diligently. When I met the client, I was a little surprised. He was young, in his early 30s, very handsome, and had a refined and elegant demeanor. Hello, I'm Grace, the design supervisor for this project. Hello, I'm Liam. It's a pleasure to meet you. You. He extended his hand to shake mine. His hand was warm, and as we shook hands, I felt a strange sensation. It was a feeling I hadn't experienced in a very long time. Mr. Liam, please have a seat. Let's discuss your specific needs first. Of course. After thoroughly understanding his needs, I began working on the design proposal. It was a very challenging project, but I was excited. I love challenging work, it ignites my creativity. A week later, I presented the initial proposal to Liam. Ms. Grace, this proposal is fantastic. It completely exceeded my expectations. Thank you for your appreciation, Mr. Liam. I can tell you're a very talented designer. Thank you for the compliment. In our subsequent collaboration, Liam and I had a lot of interaction. He was very professional and had many insightful ideas about design. Discussing work with him was a very pleasant experience. Gradually, I discovered that not only was he competent at work, but he also had excellent character. He was very caring towards his employees and very respectful of his partners. Ms. Grace, you've worked hard today. Let me treat you to dinner. Oh, no need. It's just part of my job. Then consider it a meal between friends, okay? I hesitated for a moment, then agreed. At the restaurant, we talked about many topics beyond work. I found him interesting, knowledgeable, and humorous. Talking with him was very relaxing. Ms. Grace, are you married? He suddenly asked. I froze for a second. I'm divorced. I apologize. I shouldn't have asked such a personal question. It's fine. If you don't mind, could you tell me why? I thought for a moment, then simply said, he was cheating. Liam's expression turned serious. What a fool that man was. It's all in the past. Women who can move past the darkness are very strong. I admire you very much. Hearing his words, my heart felt warm. It was the first time since my divorce that a man had complimented me like this. The project progressed smoothly and was completed a month later. Liam was very satisfied with the final result. Ms. Grace, collaborating with you was truly a pleasure. Line 2. The project is over, but I hope our friendship can continue. Thank you for reading today's story. If you enjoyed this episode, please like it and share it with friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.